couple of brolgas out in front of us. 3 of them. Go, guys, go.
Don't take your eye off the road and hit a termite mound.
Yeah, deploy all the airbags before we get off the canning.
Just ran into a bike rider named Matthew.
Yes, he just finished the canning on his WR250R, which is a non-competition WR bike. The Fs are the competition bikes, and it would be very miserly on fuel. He's done it in, I think he said he had 40 liters in the bottom half and another 40 liters in the top half to get it done. Doesn't have a lot of power, about 25 horsepower, but miserly on fuel, so he can get it done without having to carry bucket loads of fuel.
He has bad knees, so he had to do the whole thing riding while sitting down.
Yeah.
Terry rides while standing up 99% of the time.
I do. Good on him for finishing it. That's awesome, Matthew. Well done, mate.
Yeah, absolutely epic.
We've got 69 kilometers to go to get to the turnoff for Stretch Lagoon. We're definitely in cattle country now. There's cattle poo all over the ground and lots of friendly flies. They certainly do change the landscape when it's cattle, when it's grazed. You know, this is nothing like what we saw out on the canning. We have just pulled into Stretch Lagoon. That's a big stretchy lagoon, all right. This little trail that you see in front of you goes up to the rim of the Wolfe Creek Meteorite Crater. Let's go check it out. This is cool. That is a lake in the middle of the crater. Unbelievable.
It's the same as I remember it, only green, and there was no water in the middle.
No, there wasn't.
No.
We have warped out to Halls Creek, and we've just recommissioned the vehicle, filled up with fuel, and we're now heading out to a campsite called Sawtooth Gorge or Saw Pit Gorge. It's got both names. It's about 25 kilometers out of Halls Creek. This area through here is just stunning. Small little hills everywhere. You can tell it's kind of gold feel. Halls Creek was born on the back of gold, and this, I don't know, this feels goldy to me. That's a decent sized termite mound. That's higher than the car. Oh wow, look at that range in front of us. That's cool. All that land on the left-hand side of us has been recently burnt, and then we've had the rains, and it is green as anything. Have a look at that white quartz. That's awesome. Boy, I hope the camera can pick up that stunningness of that range in front of us. It's massive and beautiful. We got a little river crossing. Saw Pit Gorge, 4 kilometers. That's the one we want. Heading down into Sawtooth Gorge. Saw Pit, Sawtooth. Well, we made it down to Pit Gorge, or Sawtooth Gorge, depending on who you talk to. That's our camp. We're on a little rocky promontory around the river. There is one other camper down here, over on the other side, but a good distance from us. And there's the gorge wall up there. That's got to be, I don't know, 50 meters up there, maybe even 100. I'm in the water for a swim. There's another rocky hill up there, but you really can't see that very well because of the sun. Jill's up in the tent at the moment, sort of sorting out the bedding, making the nest, I guess. And I'm in here having a swim at the moment, just trying to cool down a little bit, get a little bit of the dust off. We stopped in at Halls Creek, fueled up, $2.21 a liter, which I didn't think was too bad. We made it all the way from Purnululu to Halls Creek without having to fill up. Filling up at Billaloona would have cost us $3.20. So we saved $1 a liter on 200 liters. That's $200. That's nothing to sneeze at. There's one grog shop in Halls Creek, and they sell light beer by the 6-pack or by the carton, and that's it. No spirits, only one brand. It's funny, you walk into the grog shop and it's got a cooler, like a drinks cooler that you'd see Coke dispensed out of, and that's it. That's just one cooler full of a few boxes of beer, and that's it. The publican, or the shop owner, was very, very helpful. We wanted to come back here to the Sawtooth Gorge, and he just confirmed that it was a great place and said, yeah, really nice, be awesome, get down there. These are the tracks that you come in on to get down into this gorge area. The one there on the right is the easier one. The one here on the left is a bit steeper and more challenging. Of course, that's the one we took. There's camp just in through the trees, and it is a beautiful morning. Jill's enjoying her morning coffee, catching up on the news of the day and the evening. And here's, I guess, the main river area, or the flat area. We did have neighbors up there last night, but they've left, and now it's just us and the birds and the fish. That is one impressive cliff face. Unreal. That might be able to give a little bit of scale of how big that cliff is. There's our camp. And if I pan up here to the cliff, it keeps going and going and going and going. Boy, it gets a reasonable amount of water flow through here given the roundness of these rocks here. And that is looking downstream from our camp. Simply stunning. Pit Gorge, or Sawtooth Gorge. I can highly recommend this one. 10 out of 10 spot. I've walked up to the top of this Pit Gorge. Our camp is down there in the gap, and it is stunning up here. There's a little 4-wheel drive track that comes up to the top here. I've just walked it. Look at that termite mound sitting on top of that hill like a sentinel. And that valley there, just to the left of the termite mound, is the one that we drove in on. I saw some commentary on a Facebook page somewhere about pre-filters on snorkels or snorkel socks and the pros and cons of them. I am a massive fan of snorkel socks. And in this Facebook page, somebody was asking, well, first of all, do I use them? And second of all, do I oil them or not? Well, ask yourself, what's the purpose of a snorkel sock? It's to catch some dust and any major bits and pieces and prevent it from going down through your intake system into your main air filter, increasing the longevity of that air filter. So first of all, yeah, absolutely use them if you want to increase the longevity of that air filter. Second of all, why would you not oil them? I saw some commentary on there saying, nah, don't bother oiling them. Why the hell are you putting this thing on in the first place? To increase the longevity of the main air filter. And if you're not oiling them, all that dust goes straight through there and down into your main air filter. I just don't get it. So use it, oil it, and change it regularly. And some people might say, well, listen, I don't tailgate anybody so I don't get any dust, or I'm driving solo and there's nobody in front of me. Have a look inside of there. We've been driving the Canning stock route. I've been changing this filter almost every single day on that Canning stock route. Look how dusty that is. And more importantly, look at all the bits and pieces of pollen. That's 1 day's worth. Multiply that by 20, and you can imagine how blocked up that main filter would be with just pollen if I hadn't been changing this regularly. So my advice, use a snorkel sock, oil the snorkel sock, and change it regularly. We're leaving our Pit Gorge track and little camp area. It was awesome. Got a little tiny river crossing and then up the hill.
Be interesting to see how much higher that is when the expected rain comes. It's supposed to rain in a few days, for a few days.
It is. We are now off to explore the areas around Old Halls Creek before heading into town and doing some recommissioning. Not too far from the entrance to Pit Gorge is Palm Springs. And here it is. I see a palm in the foreground and I see a spring directly in front of me. So I think I know where it got its name from. There's actually running water down there too. It's a beautiful, tranquil little pool. The camping area is not much chopped though. I'll show you that. There's the road right there. 4 or 5 car widths over is your camping area, which I must say is being maintained. The grass has been cut, most of the rubbish has been picked up, and the hedges have even got a haircut. This is the main little river area. I'd say at one time that was a track that went across here, but it's got overgrown now and rocks have been filled in from flooding, so you really can't get over to that other side now. Not a bad little spot to stop in and have a look. Not a bad picnic spot as well. If I was camping, however, I'd push on the extra 4 kilometers back into Sawtooth Gorge. We have found a little offshoot off the main Duncan Road to a lake called Lake Monty Gordon. So we're going to try and get back to Monty Gordon and check it out. You got some washout sections, but it is well used. We saw a lot of wheel tracks on the way in.
Can you see anything?
Not a thing. Just
don't go to the left. That's
just
all I know.
sky.
Yeah, well, don't go left. It's a really far way down. We'll roll.
Okay, we didn't go left. Okay, we're going down this real steep section. We had to turn around because the track was actually washed out, but this is pretty cool here. She's a steep one, all right. Getting maximum flex, that's for sure. Bum did a little bit of a drag when we were coming the other way. No drag that time. Sweet.
Here's the original section next to where Terry's walking, and it is extremely washed out. We just had to turn around because we came to another really bad section and there wasn't an alternative route there.
Billy. Well, that was a bit of a bummer. I kind of wanted to get back to that lake. It looked cool from the satellite, but
we didn't want to wreck the truck.
No, that last section was pretty nasty. Well, we've come to a place called Caroline Pool, which has a camping area, and it's not too far out of town. 10K maybe. Let's have a look at the pool. Well, there's our pool. It does have water in it, but it's probably more akin to a Caroline cesspool at the moment. She's almost dried out. Very picturesque little spot though. I'd say this pool's not long for this world actually. At this evaporation rate that you'll be seeing, she's probably going to dry up before too long. Lots of campsites all around here. Again, if I was going to go camping, it'd have to be back at that Pit Gorge. It's so much nicer. Our next attraction at Halls Creek, and our last one actually, is China Wall. There it is in front of us, and there is a vehicle in front of it. Poopy vans. Well, hello Jafffa Adventures. It's been a while since we've been recording. Hasn't been a while since you've been watching, I'm sure. We are on the road into Purnululu. When we were here 30 years ago, it's called the Bungo Bungles, but they have since changed the name. We're about halfway in on this road, and interestingly enough, when we were here 30 years ago, we remember this road almost identical to what it is now. It's a dirt road with a bunch of water crossings and a few corrugations here and there. It's pretty slow going, but it hasn't changed in 30 years. That's pretty amazing. That is a pretty impressive lump of rock in front of us. My goodness, heaps and heaps of these tiny little water crossings. Must have done 10 of them so far.
These water crossings could be a lot more significant on the way out if we get a lot of rain.
Yes, they could.